How about I don't take a break? Anyway, sorry about that. Hey guys. Um, so, like, I have to be the person to ask. Is running away from your problems the only advice you can give someone? Because that's all I've heard over the past couple of weeks. And it's no secret, I've been having a rough time this past couple weeks. What with my accounts continuously getting hacked, a bunch of other personal issues going on, stress at work, stress making videos, blah, 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 blah. Well, stress at trying to get videos done because I haven't uploaded in a couple of days, and I'm sorry. But because don't get me wrong, because some of you are going to be like, oh, Matt's just an insensitive prick. Sometimes, yes, I can be. But I'm also very, 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 very blunt. So you can very easily misconstrue my approach as very heartless or cold. But I just don't like bullshitting people. I just don't. Like, don't get me wrong. Walking away from a situation and taking a legitimate moment to actually consider what to do is a perfectly okay approach to dealing with your problems. However, 95% of people misconstrue go take a break as block it out. Don't think about it. Completely cut out absolutely everything that has to do with the problem. Otherwise, it's still bad. At that point, you're not taking a break. You're just ignoring the problem. And the problem doesn't go away. Just because you ignore it doesn't mean it isn't there. I fail to see the logic in some people's approaches. And I try to be as open and kind about it as possible. I 157% try to understand. But sometimes it just doesn't make any goddamn sense. Because I've literally had 15 separate people say, you should probably take a break then. And every single one of them explaining to me what they think taking a break is, it is exactly how I just described it to you. Completely shutting out anything involved with the problem. Completely shutting off, which would mean me completely shutting off my internet and never addressing anything that goes on. Me completely staying away from work and potentially getting fired for not showing up to work to avoid the stress. Like, things like that are not okay. That's not okay. Granted, there are a few people who legitimately just wanted me to take the time to properly reset and readjust. I am very thankful to those people, and I'm very, very thankful to any of you who are trying to help. I absolutely thank all of you. But some of you just don't get it. Like, I hate to be that guy, but some of you just don't get it at all. 'Cause I am a very headstrong and stubborn individual. I don't like taking breaks. I hate taking breaks. The fact that I haven't been able to get as many videos out as I wanted to recently is considerably pissing me off and making me stressed out, which is just one of the factors that I could literally sit here and shake for hours in just anger over the fact that I can't even sit down and record things because of whether it's other people in the house, or if my software isn't working, or if YouTube is being an asshole and not uploading and processing properly. My accounts keep getting hacked. I have to continuously keep changing my passwords every day. All of these things make it really hard on me to get anything done on the YouTube side of things. And on top of that, I have to be social on the internet and be on Discord and talk to people, because I'm a very social individual. I like talking to people. I like the liveliness of everything. But it also ties into a lot of things that's happening with me personally. Like, there are some people that just I cannot talk to, whether I'm blocked by them, or I just don't want to be talking with them, or if they don't want to be talking with me. It's there's a lot of different things going on in the Discord side of things. In the real life sort of things, I work a full-time job. A full-time job means I'm working 40 plus hours a week, generally more, to make money. As we all have to. We all have to have a day job to make ends meet. And it is very, very, very hard to schedule everything among all of those things when I have such an inflexible schedule where I only ever get 2 days off at the start of the week. I'm off Saturday and Monday. I work Sunday. So I cannot be up all night either day to edit videos or make sure they get uploaded or all of these other micromanagement things. And there's a lot. Like, I have a lot on my shoulders this month. This month has been a really hard one on me. Emotionally, physically, mentally, generally. And people, I think the thing that some people misconstrue is just because someone's going through a hard time, in their brains, oh, that person is completely different. I'm either seeing the true side of these people because they've been hiding this side of themselves this whole time, or no, I just don't want to deal with this right now and I'm going to go fuck off somewhere else. Those are the types of scenarios that are also going on. And it amazes me how some people go through every day of their life completely or ignoring all of their problems for weeks upon weeks, just completely shutting it out and saying, no, I'm not dealing with it, I'm not going to think about it, I'm not going to do anything about it, it doesn't exist, and hope that the problem goes away. I hate to burst those people's bubbles, but that's not how life works. Your problems don't go away just because you ignore them, or just don't want to deal with them, or just can't right now. Things like that don't disappear. Like, generally, yes, I can get in a very pissy mood, but that is my coping stage. I am trying to start coping through the things that I'm going through. Yes, I may be more harsh or a bit cold, as it seems, but I'm still me. Like, that's not the real me. That's the stress and the pressure talking. Because I have a lot to do as an adult. I am an adult. So I have to be able to take responsibility for these things. I have to be able to address these things. If I don't, they don't get addressed at all, and nothing gets fixed. Nothing changes. And it'll just happen again. And I feel that's also an issue. Because the other piece of advice people keep giving me is, well, go talk to someone, or talk to me. Say something to someone. Say something to the people who are angry at you. And I'm going to open up a little more on camera. Probably something that most of you didn't even know about. I have serious trust issues. And by serious trust issues, I mean no one. I have 0 people in my circle of trust outside of myself. So a lot of what goes on stays up here, and only up here. I don't talk about it. I don't mention it. I don't do anything with it, because it is locked up in here, and it does not leave my little vault that I have in my head. It just doesn't go anywhere. So for me to actually go out of my way and go talk to someone, I have to hurdle over those trust issues, which I have tried before, and every single time I have tried to overcome my issues with trusting other people, I've been screwed over every single time. Like, I could give you a handful of names. I won't, but I could give you a handful of names of people that I trusted that ultimately stabbed me in the back, or just left me hung out to dry. And just said, fuck you, I'm done with you. Like, I could give you a handful of people who have done that to me. Couple of them I deserved. Most of them I didn't. Because it was something on their end that caused them to decide not to properly communicate issues. And I feel like that's where my biggest mistrust in people lies, is people's inability to communicate. Because I get it. I'm a stubborn asshole, and I don't like talking about my problems, and I don't like opening up about my problems. But for you to securely have my trust, I have to have your trust. It's a two-way street. It's just like respect. Respect is a two-way street. If you're not showing me respect, I'm not showing you respect. I will go out of my way to show you the same modicum of respect absolutely every person on this planet deserves. But if you disrespect me, you could bet your ass I'm going to disrespect you. If you don't trust me, then I don't trust you. That's just the way it works. And it is what has gotten me through the past 10 years of my life. Ever since a lot of extreme hardships that I had when I was 12 years old, where I had to grow up and basically become an adult at 12. At 12, I had to become an adult and address my issues and confront my problems and take responsibility. I wasn't allowed to be a child anymore. I had to take responsibility and work my way out of this hole that I dug myself in. These are the guidelines that I've lived by for 10 years. Granted, it has not been perfect, but I'm still here. Like, that's something some people just aren't able to say. And I know this is a touchy subject for some people, but in a way, I'm allowed to talk about it because I've been there. I've attempted that. I've been in that headspace. I know what's that's like. But the and at this point, I don't care if you think I'm an asshole for saying this, but suicide should never be an option, because that is probably the most extreme way of saying I give up. And for me to say I give up is, it's like a blue moon. It's like a solar eclipse. It happens once every million years. It hardly ever happens where I say I give up. And like I said, I've been there. I've been in that hole. I've nearly died to those thoughts and those emotions. I've been there. It's not easy. It's not easy to get out. It's not easy to work through. But the main way to work through that type of depression and through those types of problems is you communicate. If you don't talk to someone, no one can read your mind. Like, you may want to speak out through actions, but your best way of reaching anybody anytime ever is through your words. Granted, there's going to be some people who think you're overdramatic or don't believe you at all. Fuck those people. Like, seriously, fuck those people. Because if you are legitimately in that place, communicate. Talk to your parents. Talk to your best friends. Talk to a counselor. Talk to your doctor. Like, there's a suicide hotline for a reason, because they are people to talk to. And I'm not saying any of this in any way, shape, or form to offend anyone. And I'm sure someone out there is going to take offense. It doesn't matter anyway. I've at this point, I've already offended as many people as I possibly can. Doesn't matter anyway. What's a couple more people angry at me gonna do? Nothing. Literally nothing at this stage. Like I said, I'm not saying this in any way, shape, or form that I'm on that edge, because I'm not. I've been there already. I don't want to go back. I'm never going to go back to that type of mindset, because that is a very negative, toxic, and disgusting mindset to be in. And I don't want to be there. So it's not an option. And I don't know. Like I said, I think it's people's either inability or absolute refusal to communicate that truly, truly frustrates me the most. Because I don't know. Like, after what I've said my mindset is and what my philosophy is, it seems kind of hypocritical to tell other people to communicate when I myself do not communicate. But I feel like, but I can address that. Like, I understand my hypocrisy, because my hypocrisy has a purpose. Like, my mindset has a purpose. Because my philosophy is, if these things don't come out of my box, then I can't trouble other people with them. Like, these are my problems. I will deal with them, and they will be addressed as soon as possible. But I don't want them to get outside of my box and affect other people. That's my mindset. Granted, there are some things that I have no problems talking about, like if I'm sick or if I'm injured, like things like that, I have no problem talking about. But I don't have to trust anyone when I say those things. And the fact that I'm ranting right now about things that are bothering me is helping a little bit. Don't get me wrong, it helps a little bit, but I also want to point out ranting only helps as much as you're willing to follow through. If you rant and then don't follow through with what you say you're going to do, all you're doing is spinning that wheel and going around and around and around and around, and nothing is ever going to change. It's just a wheel of stagnation, and you're going to stay stuck in that if you don't do something. Like, you have to do something to be able to change it. Because talking about the problem is not the same as addressing the problem. Addressing the problem is beginning to take action to fix the problem. And I myself, yes, I have a lot of problems. I have a lot of issues. Everybody does. Everyone does. But another thing that probably irritates me the most is when those problems overrule a lot of your priorities. That irritates me just as much as not communicating. Another thing that irritates me, probably even more than that, is when you're saying this thing, but you're busy fucking off doing another thing while telling me these things. Like, those are types of things that I absolutely despise. Like, it pisses me off more than anything. Like, you're saying, oh, can we talk about this issue? Oh, sorry, I can't right now. I just can't right now. And they're busy fucking off in a public VC. Like, stuff of that nature. It really gets under my skin, because basically you're basically stating, no, sorry, you're not worth my time to talk to. Or, no, sorry, I really don't give a shit enough about this issue to talk it out with you. It's basically just saying, no, go fuck off. I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want. And I don't want to hear anything from you ever again. And it's very demeaning, it's very insulting, and it's also... it's also arrogant. Egotistical, even. To think that your time is so much more important than addressing an issue that is actually a more important thing it grinds my gears really badly. Because, don't get me wrong, I get a big head every once in a while, and I generally take very well to people calling me out on it and saying, hey, bring it down. And generally, I will apologize and say, yeah, you're right, I crossed the line. But for some people, that line doesn't exist. Generally, there's a line for people. In your moral standings, you have a line that you don't cross with people on a regular basis. Some people don't have that line and don't have that general morality to certain people, and they treat people like absolute shit. Or they treat them like their toys or their playthings or their pets. And while in a joking manner, yeah, that could be acceptable. But in no, I own you, you are mine, type of way is it's favoritism at its worst, because you're literally claiming ownership of that person. So anyone else trying to interact with that person at certain times, and you say, no, you can't talk with this person, or no, you shouldn't talk with this person, or no, this person should be treated this way. It's very manipulative, very egotistical, very arrogant, and generally very shitty of you to do, because let's face it, most people who treat other people like that are generally worse off than everybody else. They need that feeling of dominance over people. And my best example of that would be smaller YouTubers who suddenly become bigger, and let their numbers control their every action. So all of a sudden, let's say a guy goes from 200 subscribers to 200,000 subscribers, and now he suddenly is treating everybody like shit, treating everybody like they should be paying homage to him and bowing down before him, because he's the guy with 200,000 subscribers. He's the guy you want to be collabing with. He is the guy you want on your good side, on the good side of, because otherwise he's not going to support you, and he's going to generally say, oh no, this person is shitty, or this person just isn't worth the time. Those people I probably hate the most out of everybody on the planet. Almost everybody on the planet. I probably hate them. Probably top 5 types of people that I hate the most. Because everybody starts at the bottom. And for YouTubers especially, and anyone on social media ever, or on the internet in general, started at the bottom and started as no one. So to go from being that nobody to suddenly claiming you're the most important person ever is wrong. 'Cause you were also that person who had nothing. And it makes me even more thankful all the time that I've stayed such a small channel for so long. Some people would be like, good God, you've been doing this for 4 years and you only have, what, 415 subscribers, 410 subscribers, whatever? And I'm like, yeah, those are 410, 415 people who genuinely like my content. They aren't pity subscribes, they aren't pity likes, they aren't pity follows. They're genuine people who actually enjoy my content. And the fact that I've stayed so small, even though 400 subscribers is not small, I can't even imagine a group of 400 people. I would probably be too intimidated by a group of 400 people to even approach. Knowing me, I'd handle it in my own way, but I don't even know if I'd be able to handle that. But it's allowed me to stay humble and allowed me to stay grounded. Because even though I make content and I put it out on the internet and I make videos, and maybe one day I'll hit 1,000 subscribers and start monetization, whatever. It really doesn't matter to me at this stage, because I just do it because I generally enjoy doing it. I love playing video games and being an idiot. That's what I live for. But I also have a day job. I also have real life responsibilities that I have to take care of. I still have other things outside of the internet to address. I don't have the luxury to shut off the outside world and only focus on the internet. And that's very good, because let's be honest, the outside world doesn't go away just because you want to stay shut in and only be on the internet. The real world is still out there. And the real world does affect you at one point. It will. A lot of these things some people don't think about. A lot of these things some people don't care to think about. And some of these things some people just generally don't give a shit and only focus on one thing. And they only ever want to achieve that one thing. And then they're good. Like, I don't know. And like I said, don't take any of this as me trying to tell you how to live your lives or who to avoid, who not to talk to. Like, those are all your decisions. But you would think after being on the internet for so long, I would be numb to the amount of bullshit that goes on the internet. But every single day, I am continuously amazed at how terribly people treat each other on the internet. Because you wouldn't do this to someone if they were standing right in front of them. You wouldn't insult me right to my face. Would you? And some of you would, some of you wouldn't. Some of you wouldn't even show up. Most of you wouldn't even show up. Like, it absolutely amazes me how toxic and how gross and how disgustingly people treat other people on the internet. It continuously amazes me. And yeah, some people are going to come out and attack me and say, well, you've treated people like shit too. Yes, but only if they gave me a reason to. Whether that's a good reason or a bad reason is entirely aside the point. If you, like I said, towards the very beginning of this rant video, I would say, I said, if I don't trust you, you don't trust me. If you don't show respect to me, I'm sure as hell not going to show respect to you. And I'll call it as I see it. Like, you could be completely different from what I say, but if I don't see it, then I don't see it. And I generally consider myself a good judge of character for people. Especially if I meet them in a voice chat, I'm generally a very good judge of character. I have been wrong a few times. I have been proven wrong through the test of time. I'm not perfect. I never finished my psychology courses in college. Like, I can't read people all the time. But I, in a general sense, can get a good feel of a person's character after I speak with them for a certain amount of time. Generally. But when shit hits the fan, and I find this to be true in a lot of situations, a lot of people hide their true selves until the very end when shit hits the fan and they have literally nothing else to lose. And their true sides come out, and it's generally very toxic and very disgusting and very awful. But then you have the people where you know them very well, you've known them for a long time, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they do a complete 180-degree turn and go the other fucking way. And they leave you sitting there asking, why? Why the fuck did you do that? And 90% of the time, they don't answer you. They don't give you an answer. If they do give you an answer, it's because I felt like it. Or because this is in my best interest. And my response to that is, yeah, but why? Because there's another thing I don't understand about people at all is how you sacrifice your good character traits just getting on the good side of people you look up to or want to be involved with. Like, if you've got a big YouTuber and you have to treat people a certain way to get in good spirits with that YouTuber, and you do it, and then you get to collab with that person, is it worth it? Is that worth it? Is that 1 minute of fame, of spotlight, is that one spotlight really worth it? Because, yeah, people want the spotlight. People want to be the center of attention. But is it really worth destroying your own ideals and moral standing worth the cost of that spotlight? And I'm going to throw myself under the bus here. Like, the whole quote-unquote feud with Mania that I've had for a long time, was it worth all of that negativity and hatred between the two of us and cutting of ties with dozens of people, good people that I knew and were friends with, and insulting them worth it? Some people would say yes, because some people think I'm right. Some people would say no, because some people think Mania is right. There were two sides at the time. There aren't any more, because I would like to think that beef between us is not gone, because there's no repairing what has been done. Like, there's nothing that can truly fix that. Like, there's nothing that I could ever do to ever amend what I have done. Just like there is nothing she can do to amend what she has done. It's one of those things that you just have to live with the consequences of. And that's another thing that I don't understand about people is some people expect things to go over for shit to hit the fan and then immediately expect things to be completely fine the next day. And my standpoint of that is, if you genuinely hurt me or someone I care about, like, it's over. I don't want to hear from you. Unless it's an apology, a real, sincere apology, then I don't want to hear from you. because you've either wronged me and hurt me, or hurt someone I'm very close with. And generally those people just have no sense of consequence, because either they don't understand the concept, or they have their heads shoved so far up their asses and think so much of themselves that, oh, I'm just so great that they can forgive me. Okay, cool. I don't care who you think you are or what you think you're doing that's so fucking amazing. If you've crossed me and you've hurt me, get the fuck out. Like, I don't want to hear it. It's over. I'm done talking to you. Don't message me. You fucked up. Live with the consequences. Because the consequences generally when you get in a fight with someone is you don't talk to that person. If you properly make amends and kiss and make up, there you go. Problem solved. But if it's an actual genuine conflict, like I would consider between Mania and myself an actual genuine conflict, whether it was a conflict of interest or a conflict of ideals, it doesn't matter anymore. But that was a genuine conflict that stretched out for months, almost the entirety of this year. And it's not been beneficial for anyone involved. No one got anything out of that. There was only negativity and hatred, and it very much was not a good situation to be in the middle of. And it still pisses me off when I talk to someone about what happened between Mania and myself, and they're like, oh, well, I'm not picking a side. What side is there to pick? It's already done and over with. If you're not picking a side, why are you saying anything at all? If you understood the process of events, then why do you think there are sides? I genuinely think Mania has a lot of potential for growth and expansion for her stuff. Like, I think she has a lot of potential for it. She has the ground base to hit that launching point from her tens of thousands of subscribers now to her 100,000 subscriber mark, which is just over the hill. Like, I have no doubt she's going to make it that far, if not further. But there's also the issues of lack of budgets, there's lack of true coordination, there's lack of creativity, the use of mediocrity. There's like in any type of production team, there's things to improve upon. But if, as a content creator myself, if you don't improve, you will stay the same, but your your content will slowly degrade in quality. Because you can churn out the same performance over and over and over and over and over again, but that doesn't mean it has the same quality over and over and over and over again. Because that's generally how it works. If you hit that curve, you either keep going up or staying in that curve, or you go back down. Like, you can't hit a dead straight in terms of quality if you're just doing the same things over and over again. That being said, I personally have a lot of things to improve on. Like, my commentary style needs to be improved. My basic interaction needs to be improved. My jokes need to be improved. The quality of my videos are no longer a problem, because since I got this PC, I've had no issues with it. Well, I've had one issue, but I fixed it. But I've had no issues with this PC in terms of recording or lag or quality or video quality issues or anything. I've had zero issues so far. So the overall quality of my videos will be generally always 720/60, if not 1080/60 from now on. So that's been improved. My webcam got a hell of a lot better. My webcam has gone through a lot of changes throughout the years. Because it started off decent, but my lighting was bad. And then it went from decent with bad lighting to terrible with good lighting. And then it hit kind of meh quality with decent lighting. And now I have almost proper lighting with a very good camera. Whoops. It's been all over the place. But yeah, like, there's so many things people, because I don't think the people who act that way are inherently bad people. I don't like to think that way, because that's not a good way to think about things. I think deep down, a lot of these people are generally very good people, but they're just making very terrible decisions. Or they're making bad decisions. Like, it's the fact that they've made those decisions and then refuse to accept the consequences of those decisions because they refuse to admit they chose wrong, or they just generally don't see the issues with their choice. Because no matter what choice you make, there's going to be consequence. Because consequences aren't always good, and consequences aren't always bad. Like, the consequence of me spending $5,000 on this PC, $5,600 for this whole setup, including the PC, has left me in pretty bad straits in terms of funds, because I've had to be busting my ass to make sure everybody on my production team and generally the people who work for me to be paid. Like, I've had to bust my ass to get that stuff, to those ends to meet. And it doesn't help matters that some states are going back to stage 3 in terms of quarantine, And some states are thinking about shutting down again. And that makes me very nervous because I do not want to go back on unemployment. Because if I get laid off because of quarantine again, I'm going to be upset. I'm going to be looking for a second job. Because I can't do that again. If the restaurants get shut down again, I'm going to be off looking for a second job. Like, because I cannot sit here and do nothing like that again. I can't have that zero income again. Because, don't get me wrong, unemployment towards the start was very, very good. Like, too good. Because it was like $1,200 a week, every 2 weeks. Plus the extra that they gave you at the very start, that extra $1,200. Like, that's how I paid for this whole setup, was all of the unemployment money that I made went to this setup. And then there's, because it was towards the end where it started getting really bad. Because I think right now it's only $200 every 2 weeks, which is not a lot. That's not enough for 2 weeks. Especially with me, because I generally have to pay someone within that 2 week time period. Generally, I have at least one person every week or so to pay because they've either turned in their lines to me, they've turned in their art to me, they've done this, that, or the other for me, and I've, like, it's time to pay them. Like, I generally have to do that. Like this week, I have to pay another one of my concept artists, because they haven't been paid yet, and I need to pay them. Like, stuff of that nature. And it can frustrate the hell out of me sometimes. Because I get why some people don't trust that I will get them paid on time. But generally, I consider myself a man of my word. Because if I don't have my word, what do I have? Like, if I can't keep my own word, then what else is there that was worth anything? Because there's a lot of things that has happened to me throughout my life that's caused me to always live up to my word. Because if I say I'm going to do something, you bet your ass I'm going to do it. Because I said I was going to do it. Even though I've broken more of my word on this channel than I have my entire life. Because I also said I was going to start with Doom and then finish Alien Isolation and Ben and Ed. But I started with Amnesia Rebirth. And I still have to finish Alien Isolation and Ben and Ed. But then I also have to start Doom. Like, I don't know. Like I said before, I'm not perfect. My aim is not perfection. Because if you're aiming for perfection, you're aiming too high. Because there's nobody on this planet that is perfect, that can make those perfect decisions every single time. There is no one, nobody, that is perfect and is always right and never does anything wrong. There is zero people on the planet. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody is wrong at some point. And I don't know. I don't know. Jesus Christ, this video is so long. 20.2 gigabytes? What the fuck? How long is this gonna take to get uploaded? I hope not that long. I think that's all I have in my brain to say right now. My brain is very empty right now. I have not slept. That's another thing that's been plaguing me, is these sudden bursts of insomnia that I've been suffering through. Some days some nights I just cannot sleep. I just can't do it. It's not that I don't want to sleep, it's just that I physically cannot. And coming from someone that has lived with chronic nightmares for 10 years of his life, that's saying a lot, because I've slept like a baby and still had some of the worst nightmares of my life. And not been jolted awake in a cold sweat. Like, that's saying a lot. It's also saying a lot that coming from someone who's done almost absolutely everything in his life by himself, to because I've like 10 years is a long time. I've been through a lot of different things. I've been through a lot of different relationships. I've been through a lot of different jobs. But if you're going to promise someone to not leave them alone and then turn around and leave them alone, you better have a damn good reason to do so. Otherwise, how do you sleep at night? Like, it makes me question a lot of people's actions. Like, to suddenly turn around and do a 180, how do those people sleep at night to do those things? Like, I lose sleep because of this shit, thinking about this shit. Because people are just god-awful most of the time. It's amazing. And you would think I'd be used to it at this point, but I'm not. Because that small part of me that wants to hope that everybody is generally a good person and will be nice to everyone and everything will go smoothly always comes out and is always proven wrong, because something always happens. And generally when something happens, either people's true selves come out and run off and say fuck you, or they do a complete 180 and say, nah, you're on your own, good luck, fuck you. And then there's the small percentage of people who just cut you out of their lives completely. It amazes me that any of those people can sleep at night. My monitor just shut off. Oh my god. Stop flashing. Fuck's sake. Oh my god, no, why are you over there? No, get over there. Good fucking Christ. No! My monitor shut off and it screwed up my whole setup. It's whatever. I have been recording for an hour, just sitting here talking about everything, basically. Anyway, I'm done talking. I've finally tired myself out to the point where I'm actually gonna go lay down for the first time tonight, because it is 6 a.m. I have been up all day yesterday, and it is 6 a.m. and I go to work in 3 hours. So it's gonna be a rough day, because I work all day today. 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. I get a couple hours break in between. Oh, but that's it. Such is life. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for putting up with my rants. Feel free to leave your hate comments down below for any of the shit I talked about. Feel free to spam me on Discord of how I'm an idiot and I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, my Discord's in the description below. Like, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm pretty much fed up with a lot of shit. So to be completely frank, there is literally nothing that you could say, do, or show me that would make it any worse. Like, what else do I have to lose at this point? So, anyway, again, I'm done talking. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go change my passwords again so I don't get hacked while I'm sleeping. Because I'm going to go try and take at least an hour nap before I go to work. So, thank you all so much for watching. If any of you actually watched this whole thing, I commend you. I hope something I said helped you or made sense to you. Because I pride myself in not lying to people. Because I despise it. I hate lying. I hate lying to anyone. Even my worst enemies. I hate lying to them. I hate lying to anybody. Because lies are just another way of hiding from your problems and running from your problems. Because at least I have the integrity and the balls to actually stand up and face my problems when 95% of you just run away from them because you can't deal with it. Because I'm gonna be honest, like, it doesn't get any easier. Like, I may think it's bad now. In another 10 years, it's gonna be even worse for me, because I'll be 32 at that point, and I don't know where I'll be. Probably still working my ass off. Like, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I'm done for sure this time. So, as always, I will see all of you in the next video. Bye!